RAF team leader Red One, that's squad leader John Pond, known as Rodney. Rodney was a former Typhoon pilot and also qualified flight instructor on the Taranto, where he was Taranto display pilot in 2012. From the right, in our famous Diamond 9, once again, the 2025 Red Arrows. On the right of the Red One is Red 2, Provost. He's in his first year on the team. From training, he was taken from training straight into an instructor role on the horse team at one with 2-8 squad in the RAF Valley when it was in existence. Before then, completing his training, joined the Typhoon Force, where he served on operations over Iraq, Syria, as well as the Eastern European Air Police Patrol. You hear those commands from Red One, almost robotic and monotone in his delivery, and that's because we fly our formation by ear rather than by eye, which means the pilots on the outside of the formation are putting their input in just a little bit earlier than those on the inside, so the whole formation thinks as one, rather than the ripple effect down the wing. You now see Red 8 and 9 move left and right, sitting in just behind Red 2 and 3. As the team come around to the left, once again we form the iconic shape of one of the most iconic aircraft ever in aviation history. The smoke will come on for the Concorde! Just to the left of that centre stem is Red 3, Flight Lieutenant Andrew McEwen, known as Macca. Macca is also in his first year on the team. He formerly flew aviation, the hiring variant, with the United States Marine Corps on exchange, before then coming back to the UK. And he is our first pilot to join the team from flying the F-35B Lightning II of the Royal Air Force Typhoon Display Team. This is Typhoon! I'll tell the left pilot of the team, Red Arrows, myself, Red 10. This is my fourth and final year on the team. I'm a former Tornado G-IRTY pilot, also a former qualified flying instructor on the board Team Mark II. All the pilots must have a minimum of 1,000 to 1,500 hours and be assessed as a average in the air and have one operational tour under their belt before they can even apply to join the team. Those applicants are then whittled down to approximately 9 pilots who then come and spend a week with us for assessment through formal interview, mock media interview, formal flying tests, before those 9 get then whittled down to the final 2 plus 3 to join for the next year. Coming in from the front and left to celebrate the Royal Air Force, now operating in the Space and Cyber Command, as they bend around to our right. This is Apollo. On the uppermost right-hand side, all the way at the back, is Red 4. With Steve Hart all the way back there, he takes all our formation references from Red 1, not necessarily the aircraft that's on the inside. Red 4 is squad leader Chris McCann. Chris is in his second year on the team. Once again, he was taken from training and made straight into instructor on the Tarato, that based at RAF Red Arrows. He then joined the GR4, Tornado GR4 force, on operations over Iraq and Afghanistan, where he got an Air Force Cross for his service in Afghanistan. We've now made our way into the big picture shape. So ladies and boys and girls, get your cameras ready for the colourful and noisy big picture. The aircraft are flying with their air brakes out. It's quite hard to see this distance, but it's a small door at the back of the aircraft underneath towards the belly of the back of the airplane. And this has twofold effects. It makes the pilot fly with a higher throttle setting, thereby makes a lot more noise. It also produces a hotter engine gas temperature, and it disturbs the airflow outside the back of the aeroplane. That makes the smoke fill out a lot more fuller. Tornado time!
I think he's a bit excited. He gets a bit excited.
89 roll goes, and 89 roll around the rest of the formation.
Very clever.
Look, keep your eye on the rest of the formation as red one slides and down the line to that colour change.
Hey, that's really, that is cool.
Of course, Red Arrows famous for red flags up here. That's so much of the enemy take forward. That smoke bomb is capable of producing approximately 5 minutes of white smoke, 1 minute of red smoke, and 1 minute of blue smoke. With each of the colours having their own button on the pilot's control column. And during which training, Red 1 and Red 6 come up with a smoke plan to ensure that we have the right colour at the right time on the display, and that we simply do not run out. Jaw dropping is more exhilarating part of the show. But once again, from the left, in our world famous Diamond 9, it's the Red Arrows. As we go into the second half, we start with the same way we did last year. It became so popular. This is the 5-4 split. As we go to that second half, we now split into two distinct sections. Off to the left, you've got Reds 1 through 5, known as Enid, named after Enid Blyton's famous 5. And off to the right, you've got Reds 6, 7, 8, 9, known as Hannah, named after squad leader Ray Hannah, one of the first members of the Red Arrows, the only team leader to lead the team for 4 years. He took the team from a 7 to a 9 and formed our world famous Diamond 9 squad. Your eye on Enid to your front, that's Red 1 through to 5. Red 4 sits behind Red 1 as Red 5 falls all the way to the back. The smoke comes on. Number 5, roll goes. Number 5 rolls around the smoke of Enid in the twister. Red 5 is Flight Attendant Dusty Wales, known as Dusty. Dusty is in his second year on the team. He's originally from Zimbabwe. He flew the Typhoon with 11 squadrons. He was also on the Test and Evaluation Squadron, 41 Squadron, as well as being an instructor on the operational civilian unit, 29 Squadrons, all based at RAF Typhoon in Lincolnshire. Hannah, great. We have Red 6 and 8 going off to your left hand side, Red 7 and 9 off to your right hand side. On the seat, and have a closing speed of over 900 miles per hour. Is the Hannah Pass. Red 7 now coming in from our left is Flight Torbay. George in his second year on the team. He's a former Typhoon pilot, had flown with 11 squadrons at RAF Typhoon. He was also a qualified pilot from Tarato, going back to the Typhoon. On the right, we've got Enid. As they form an inverted V. You may have seen this manoeuvre before on the distance on the Crown Right 45. But coming in from the left hand side, you're looking for Red 9. It was travelling approximately 450 to 500 miles per hour. And keep reduce. Red 9 is right there from the shuttling. On the third year of the team. 8-4 shortly left. up front now, and if you were here yesterday, let's keep our fingers crossed to get it right today. We're looking for the synchro power half.
Ready? No, come back.
Keep your fingers crossed. Yay, it's going the right way. Give a massive round of applause. You're looking for the top right, looking for Red 8, and as he spins the half, Red 8 is flight attendant Rich Walker, an extremely seasoned and experienced aviator, he's flown the Harrier, he's also flown the Typhoon, as well as being a qualified flight instructor on the Hawk Departs 2. I do make a joke about the half, but absolutely, let's give the synchro pair and Red 8 a massive round of applause for a wonderful half in the bay of Torbay. They'll get to a certain point in the display line before pulling up to complete a barrel roll from 100 feet up to about 300 feet in a manoeuvre called the double roll. As the synchro pair leaves, look to your left-hand side, you've got Enid running in with Red 8 and 9 on trail. The smoke comes on, the colour goes on as Red 8 and 9 roll around them in the corkscrew. The motto of the Red Arrows is a practice means excellence. That means every single member of the team when they get on the team for a week. One of the team for 5 to 6 years is striving for excellence in everything that we do. And we like to leave the team hoping and praying that we have left the team in a better place from where we found it in the past. It was called Carousel previously. We've added 2 barrel rolls into the manoeuvre. And no cross, with only 30 meters, that's only 100 feet between each aircraft for the circus. Each aircraft now pulling up 550 with 170 force running hard against that G-JPIT. Once again, passing at the rear of the circle. Not only that, they will now change colour from red to blue, keeping that G on, passing at the front to complete the circus. Once again, that white smoke comes on, the colour smoke comes on, the red one, barrel roll, Enid around in a barrel roll, leaving a snake-like smoke trail in the sky in the first half of the manoeuvre, called the Serpent. Now to red 2, 3, 4 and 5. And as needed in these here, red 6 and 9 inverted in the chainsaw. Red 6 and 9 winning extremely hard, pushing negative G, trying to prevent all that blood from the 5. White smoke will come on. 2 and 3, roll going. 2, 3, roll. Clear go. The red 4 and 5 roll to the outside. It's one of the hardest manoeuvres for our new pilots to master each year. This is rollback. You should be able to see the smoke of 3 aircraft. That's red 8 and 9 now rolling smoke. Red and blue around red 6. around the aircraft. You can see 1, 2, 3 aircraft. We're then playing hide and seek in red 7 in the smoke of red 6 as they complete Tempest. Once again, 7 and 6 in flight in a manoeuvre called the crossbow.
Traditional speciality during the course of this is not just the most extraordinary aerobatic profile that you will see in the next few minutes, but his ability to follow he is quite extraordinary. Originally home built, in fact the majority of them still are. By 1962 the standard engine had been beefed up to 180 horsepower. Symmetrical airfoil was added to make inverted flight characteristics. Consummate performer of so many airship flights. Get the main powerhouse at the front end there, the like going flight 14. Just on each side of the two Lynx jet turbines, and giving a total thrust, would you believe, of 1,640 pounds. That, of course, equals pretty much the weight of the aircraft, hence its ability to literally stand the aircraft. Going through a whole series of different manoeuvres familiar to the aerobatic fans amongst you. Barely ever staying straight and level, always putting in a whole series of big rolls, barrel rolls, looping manoeuvres. It's based initially on the original Pitt's S2S fuselage, but incorporating a whole range of different modifications. And there, another example of literally just offering a little bit of wing drift, just a slight bit of nose forward, just to keep it moving across the crowd area, but easily holding it in the sky with all the emotional power that he has. You might recall his previous aircraft, the Union Jack coloured G-JPIT. massive ailerons and a lot more wing area, giving it a huge roll rate, and also really, really good slow speed handling. Or in this case, no speed handling. A bit of joy of stopping effect there. Holding three thrust rollers, the engine and the two little mini jets. Referring to this is especially configured is spectacular aerodynamics. You can't buy this off the shelf, but there's extensive modification program. That's massive smoke screen, all environmentally friendly, of course. Most of the smoke that you see throughout aerospace these days is a form of baby oil. But what's on this one? Very, very distinctive sound. All six quite complex instruments in the cockpit. They've got different fuel systems, different fuel That's pretty busy. Whilst of course also exerting a lot of G-forces, both positive and negative on the body. Who decades ago, mid-40s, really helped this aircraft achieve the great fame that it has around the world. And look even closer, and as he dives down, and that's the voice of Dave Barrel in the background you can hear in my little cockpit here. Keep an eye on the top of those wings for Kirsten and Emma, who are literally now facing winds of 150 miles an hour as they pull up, pulling that G-force, hanging upside down on the top of the wing, going through a loop. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Wingwalkers. And the girls using a very choreographed and well-trained routine. That's fashion and glory, but also these days a lot less dangerous than it was back in the 1920s. Diving down now, let's just drop into the cockpit. And there's that. Fantastic stuff. Brilliant photographic. Beautifully coloured aircraft. As long as you're average steerman, however... The aircraft is very, very popular in the 20s and 30s, literally trained thousands of pilots before the Second World War. Now a very popular touring and display aircraft. Over the top, there we go, smoke coming back on again. Once again, this all environmentally friendly baby oil. Going back, a long, long time now, almost 100 years or so. Henry's trouble with an aircraft once he went to literally while he was going off. moved down onto the wing to try and fix the issue, and that led him to the various antics of flying alongside another aircraft and jumping from one to another. Talking of which, take a look at Tom Cruise in the latest Mission Impossible. Yeah, it's all actual songs. All these people aircraft at the same time. At the end of the show, the girls will unspread a couple of different maneuvers whilst out of their arms. When they come back in a little bit closer, do give them a wave. If he's climbing up this time, he'll be coming back in for a little pairs routine. But the girls will do their best. They'll be looking at you and waving at you, so do join in with us. So once again, using that little time there to give themselves a bit more height and speed. So we're tuning in, find out they're going to be diving down, picking up a more speed for the next one. 150 miles an hour or so wind in their faces. Let's tune in. And what a wonderful sight that is. Girls upside down there, experiencing the most extraordinary weightlessness at the top of that roll. And then back on for a bit more positive G, feeling a lot more comfortable whilst hanging on. And now, of course, it's not an easy job to do, and it's very competitive actually. It's not too excessive, but this is something you can all do. If you want to have a go wing walking, just go to Aerosuperbatics.com. It's a great treat for a birthday or a celebration, whatever. And it's also a fabulous place to visit. Wrentham is just up the dual carriageway from Cirencester in Gloucestershire, and it's a wonderful day out if that's what you're thinking of doing as a family. And come on everybody, left or right left as they go towards Torquay. Give them a huge wave. You can see the girls giving you a wave as well. Brilliant, brilliant stuff indeed. Hanging on to the top of the wing. They'll be bouncing around. I was chatting them. So this is one of the positions the girls absolutely love. This is their wind rider. And just look how close Brian is. Tucked in underneath Dave's aircraft. The girls just literally pointing out into that very bumpy, windy and cool airstream today. That's an adventure. Excitement and of course a great deal of water. Wonderfully tough, robust, reliable aircraft and engines. And great that they've done so much to keep the spirit of the 20s and 30s in the air. This time the girls just adjusted their position in a slightly, they've got 1 foot literally on the cockpit edge, just right in front of their pilots. Riviera, Mexican wave as they go down the range there. You've been watching the Wingwalkers, and they are truly working very hard to entertain you this afternoon. Absolutely superb. What a great sight that is. And well done those girls, literally hanging on to the outside there. And on this turn, the girls will clamber in. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, wonderful display here. It's our rifles, Coast and Manila. We use for both navigation and those other areas. attention invading jets, you will see. Very often the Cape Cars. Before coming here today in the guise of ownership, half ownership I should say, of jet home today by Silver. Manchester studying economics. Joining the RAF proper in 2002. He trained himself on the Jet Provost family, flying these marks of aircraft at various times, and of course, essentially, though we gone over into the base on that particular aircraft. Then moved on to the Hawk Italian, the tactical phase, so also was lucky enough to get across the Cold Lake. The NATO school there with the Canadian Air Force. His first operational tour was then on the Tornado X3. Well, only people got involved in turning this one to the sky after explosive fire decontamination. After a series of structural repairs, managed to get this back into there again, including a new left wing, flying again back in just a couple of years ago, 2020. Back in the cockpit, Bill Arthur's main exhaust went on flying the A330 and 350 now back on the space station in the space. Signing off, very elegant display showing us the prowess and the latest compare flying with these rifle aircraft. Led today by Nigel Reed and John Dodd there, absolutely doing his best to replicate every tiny touch on the controls in perfect harmony with the lead instructions from Nigel in the front there. Although these can be home built, the majority of course are, these particular two aircraft in the hands of its previous owners when imported from America. That was just about 10 years ago from now, lots of hard work, and they became very popular as well. They've got 160 horsepower by-cabin engines, pitch-pitched propellers, and they're set in a tandem great touring aircraft, plenty of room for luggage, fairly spacious, comfortable cockpit, but also at the same time capable of pulling plus 6G and minus 3.
But she does it for fun. She doesn't drive anyone else.
He's got a great aviation background. His father introduced him to fly the family Tiger Moth. Brought up down near Poole and joining the local ATC squadron. Started on gliding. By the way, that is a great way if your children are interested in flying. Give them a chance to go for an experience flight in a glider first of all. It's a much cheaper way to do it. Flying an aircraft without an engine, you can certainly fly their experience flying first of all as a young cadet flying the Chipmunk. Whilst doing 3 paper rounds a day to join the RAF straight from school. Went on to the jet bombers that we just saw a few minutes ago. Separate positions. This is where this one comes in very handy because these are not easy aircraft to see, and so the smoke is not there just entirely for your entertainment, but also for the fire safety as well. As they turn back, they currently can't see each other, but when they come back out of these particular manoeuvres, they'll then check in with each other that they're both back visual together. There we go. Coming in for another crossover. Great photographic opportunities coming up through all these displays. Very calm, clear direction, as always. So they're just making a bit of an adjustment while they're doing this in the other aircraft. John Dodd they're both delightful guys, these two. John grew up in Scotland, spent much of his time playing around with model aircraft first of all before joining the Air Training Corps. Studied at Dundee University and flew the 152s as part of that flying club they had there. But actually started his career not in the cockpit, but as a research scientist. This time, I just put it in a bit of a twist, I think, unless they're going through a small dip. Lovely, actually that one worked out very well, but yeah, there's the twist, and they go back out to sea. So there you go, final manoeuvre from the Firebirds Braveheart. And that concludes the first phase of today's flight. Machines from the Royal Navy stable of activity. One from the front line, with the current operations, that's the Wildcat. You can see the helicopter on the right hand side over there. On the left, going way back to the 1930s, the most famous aircraft of the wartime era, the Swordfish. Now to a really wonderful moment. We're going to have 3 or 4 parts of this quite unique formation. Just keep you focused on both the modern and history of the Royal Navy. Swordfish is supported by Navy Wings, what was the charity that many years supported the Royal Navy's aviation heritage, and now forms part of the Navy Wings heritage. Please welcome what we're going to call today the Taranto formation. future generations to remember the service and sacrifice of those involved with naval flight. It also conveys a deep understanding of the importance of the Royal Naval Air Service and the Fleet's aeronauts in the history of our country. Funded entirely by public donations, charities very much seeks your support to keep these historic aircraft flying. Alongside it, are the Sharpness, familiar with the Wildcat, this pair that formed back in 2001, represented here today by the single Wildcat. More about that. What's extraordinary is that many of the roles that aircraft are carrying out very similar or decades. Dedicating them with the tactical strike capability. None of the modern-day sensors, of course, on the old string bag. These pilots aided by a huge array of sensors and vast amounts of data. Friends, everyone now, before this pair fits into their actually delightful, very sedate flying. Swordfish and its name of the string bag, the shopping bag, and you know what, accommodate pretty much any carrier. I'm talking the world, right? It's not time. Magnificent summits, and they then talk to its crew, however, and you'll discover it's a very fun aircraft to fly and remarkably maneuverable for what looks like quite a number of cars. Very often, however, it can catch any weaponry out if you're flying very, very slow. Very hard to track aircraft. As with most naval aircraft, it makes possible to find being taken up in the ship hangar. This was drive information and the history dates back to November 1914. Effectively stopped the Italian government any crossing on and which was a route to Pearl Harbor. That famous chase after the very fast and dangerous battleship Bismarck ended when the Swordfish put a torpedo right through the steering gear. The whole fleet were able to sink the window. Appropriately, high praise from their commanding officer, Lieutenant Colonel Eugene Edmonds himself, posthumously awarded the VC one of only 2 awards to the fleet aircraft during the course of World War II. Because pilots pass very slowly, very steady, do give the crew a wave, they will appreciate it, I know, they can see very, very clearly. And this is just, I think, always a very special moment, particularly when you see it in the maritime environment, getting the feel for what must have been like. You can imagine going to that such a slow, rumbling aircraft as this, but definitely made that one and achieved great success. Great cars, convoys, and of course the materials, drivers, waiting for the escorting convoys to North Russia, responsible for highest tonnage of any enemy shipping sunk by any enemy aircraft. And there he is, then out of having a chance, his teammate in Heritage Navy, both from the Royal Navy and the coaches of the old links, the Melanie. And the doctor named the Wildcat. Coming up here now, Tom Hennig and Gaz McCall. That's what the Wildcat through his face. Wildcat stays dry from the next Wildcat We're actually responsible for the critical Wildcat final salad service and looking after non-label frigates around the world. Maritime itself requires the rating from it and the same and of course that is the unusual thing. But rolling operations will be now frequently operating or heaving rolling decks thousands of miles from home. Whilst on pilots used to fly back in Scotland, it's not always the case with Royal Navy when their ship decided to move somewhere else, and it's quite possible they may want somebody else's ship. It's combat helicopter, of course, based initially on the Aerosuperbatics 159, new generation packed cutting-edge sensors and mission equipment. Able to carry two different types of missiles, able to deliver mixed weapons of base. Gauntlet is a laser-guided rocket system. Talent Seaman is a guided anti-shipping missile produced by NBC. Together with the integral sensor suite, provides a very and you'll be able to see the various protrusions there with the radar sensors, data, communications, antennae. So up front, Tom, he joined the Royal Navy in 2010 as a paratrooper pilot. Additional flight training went on by Wildcats and deployed on many occasions to the Middle East with the key roles of maritime security and counter-narcotics operations. Also trained as a maritime counter-terrorism and interdiction plan, spending 2 years with maritime terrorism forces. Yeah, so the Navy worked for 5 years as well there, one of the most experienced, not just training air crew, but he's also training air pilots at the same time. Both pilot instructors on the operational conversion unit, training the next generation of Wildcat air crew in the army of maritime destruction. With the transition here and an onto the crowd, they're just coming towards the end of their display. Looking forward very much to really full season, particularly as a pair when we can get to see them against modern and ready.
Come here, boy. Yeah, look, you listen to me, it's coming in now. Yeah, you listen to me, it's coming in now.
Just going through her preliminary warm-up phase where she just checks the performance of the aircraft. She's happy, no loose articles and things like that in the cockpit. And then she'll just stabilise out for a few moments, check positioning around the display line itself, get ready for what is going to be an absolutely tremendous show. If you weren't around yesterday, I can assure you, you can expect a really, really dynamic bag of maneuvers, just as you're seeing here, and this is just literally Melanie warming up. Got an extraordinary record on the podium there as well. First and still the only female contestant in the Red Bull series of challenges. You see a high-powered energy, passion in the flying that she is now undertaking. Really dynamic, totally engrossing and mesmerizing, going through all sorts of physical approaches in the cockpit as well. Flying today the Exeter 330 SC. It's a really amazing aircraft out of the base stable of Water Exeter, of course, who, as a retired aerobatic pilot back in the 1980s, designed a competitive level aerobatic monoplane aircraft, and evolving now into this even higher performance single seat. Designed and built by him, one of only 50 or so manufactured for even better performance than the more common two-seat variant. Not least mainly due to the consequent saving in weight. Built specifically for limited aerobatics, and when you get to that standard you can't really exceed that. You pretty much have a ticket to fill the box, as they say in competitive jargon, with a series of maneuvers which under display regulations we use to display areas, and you can put into that all the maneuvers that you see, a whole mixture of big rolls, spins, turns, roulades, longevaks, hit wheels, turns, and now here just taking literally a flat descent. And what's really was remarkable, what's today yesterday was a lot of the slow seat handling. Easily withstanding up to 10 G, comments there.
Maybe, yeah.
But didn't go into really getting a fashion day at the age of 21, getting her very first private pilot's license. Having been offered the opportunity to learn aerobatics, she took that up immediately and won her first French aerobatic. And that is her calling complete after what must be an absolutely exhausting profile to maintain. It takes a lot of practice, I can assure you, and a lot of coaching. And today, instead of flying in two parts, they're going to fly in separate elements. First of all. And here they are, catching his flight on the river and what a dramatic entry. Take all that in from a wonderful machine, of course. The landing style, as I often refer to it, the Spitfire. Tremendous design out of R.J. Mitchell back in the 30s, following the success of the air trooping. Fighter aircraft, over 20,000 built today. Remain in production throughout the It's a very heavily restored Mark 9 aircraft, very polished aluminium. It's had the guns removed off this over and demilitarized. Partly because it went on the most remarkable world tour. Quite an exhausting Starting off with the Delta Loop, led as always for many years now by Sid Shirley. And joined today, if you were here yesterday, we've seen a 5-ship operating predominantly in Vic, but tucked in at the tail end there is number 6, that's Paul Farmer, Williams number 4, Russell, well, at 5th place, and as I just mentioned, Paul flying number 6. Coming round now for their big pink underside pass. At the end of this Ravens form. Completing a very neat barrel roll from right to left. Coming back in a moment, Gerald will return with Rusty. Well, diving down from high altitude. Putting in what we call a quarter clover, tucking up underneath that, and again you've seen it all before in Pairs formation. The cadence and the absolute detail and coordination required is the cycle. And you see our cadence, that very last syllable, that is when the action occurs. And number 6 just falling out at the end. Of course, as I make those breaks, the D coming on, just for attention themselves, these guys don't wear EGCs, of course. They're all incredibly well synced on getting out on the call. The 45 in the opposite direction, that's just half right the way you're looking. Keep an eye out now before. Keep an eye right-handed head in front of you now as it brings the 4-ship back in. Oh, the crossbreak. Excellent. Big curve in the sky as if you're flying around the outside. A large old wooden beer barrel. And of course the wingmen having to work differently to keep that same position, keeping the formation flat as they manoeuvre.
Time to get your kids, 2 powder slice.
A big wing over to the right hand side to complete that manoeuvre. Really efficient, smooth flying. Always a lovely manoeuvre, spreading the love, and of course grateful thanks to all those who helped with this show together. I love that manoeuvre. This will be the final. All now keeping that cadence, keeping the breathtaking, pulling up the left place. Final maneuver, then downward bombers. Great camera shot. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Team Raven. Ladies over in airspace on QRA duties, which every member of the display team has done. Here it is. got your binos or cameras there, you may see the canards just clicking away. Of course, computers on board working hard to ensure the aircraft doesn't depart at this stage, but it's very, very unusual. Put the burners back on, reheat something.